Amrapali, a story from Buddha's life. During Buddha's time, Vaishali and Magad were two important kingdoms of North India. People of these kingdoms vied with each other and considered their own to be the best. The nobles of Vaishali loved flowers and created an exquisitely beautiful garden outside the capital for their fun and enjoyment. One day, the gardener saw a beautiful girl sitting under a mango tree. "Who are you?" the gardener asked breathlessly. "I have no place to go. I would like to take shelter in this garden, if I may," replied the damsel. The gardener could understand that she had been thrown out of her home. He rushed to see the nobles in the capital. As the girl was found under a mango tree called Ambra, the gardener referred her as Amrapali. Hearing the gardener's description of the girl, the nobles rushed to the garden to see her for themselves. She was every bit a stunning beauty as the gardener had described. The nobles began fighting with each other over her. "Do I have any choice to select the one of my liking?" Amrapali asked sharply. Hearing her voice, the nobles stopped. They allowed her to choose. Amrapali respectfully replied, "I will not choose any one person, as that will create animosity amongst you. I rather belong to you all. I will entertain all of you with music and dance whenever you want me to." The nobles were pleased and they built a magnificent house for her in the garden, beautifully decorated with everything she wanted. Amrapali was a charming dancer. She entertained the nobles from time to time and they were all happy. Soon Amrapali's fame reached Magad, Vaishali's rival kingdom. When the king of Magad, Bimbisar, heard of Amrapali, he wanted her to move to Magad. He declared war against Vaishali. The nobles heard of this while they were visiting Amrapali. They immediately took off for the battle. Amrapali watched the young men of Vaishali ride to the battlefield. She was depressed with the thought that many of them will die in the battle and may not return. On the following day, a visitor came. He was young, handsome, and strong. Amrapali liked him at the very first sight. The young man requested Amrapali to dance. Amrapali agreed and gave an exquisite performance. The visitor was none else but Bimbisar himself, the ruler of Magad. Bimbisar stealthily came to Amrapali to admire her beauty, while his commanders were preparing for the battle. Bimbisar was spellbound by the performance of Amrapali. He fell in love. Amrapali asked, "I have never seen you before. Where do you come from?" Bimbisar replied, without disclosing his identity, "I am a stranger. I have heard so much about you that I had to come to see you." "Would you mind telling me your name?" requested Amrapali. Bimbisar replied, "I am Bimbisar, the ruler of Magad." Amrapali was taken by surprise and admired his courage. "Come with me to my kingdom," continued Bimbisar. "I would like to marry you and cease all hostilities against Vaishali. Amrapali, by then, was in deep love with Bimbisar, but very painfully turned him down because of her pledge to the nobles of Vaishali. Bimbisar went back to his kingdom, rejected and disappointed. He asked his soldiers to retreat, and the battle stopped. The nobles came back to Amrapali and informed her that Bimbisar reacted like a coward. Only Amrapali knew what actually happened. She became increasingly depressed, thinking of Bimbisar and his deep-seated love towards her. She gave up all pleasures of life and could no longer dance. The nobles left her alone, not knowing what brought this sudden change. One day, Amrapali saw a young man with happy countenance carrying a beautiful lotus and going towards the outskirt of Vaishali. When Amrapali inquired, the young man replied, "I am heading towards Kotigram, where Lord Buddha has camped for his discourse to the people." Amrapali became thoughtful. She had heard of Buddha as the one who knows cause of all sufferings. She decided to go and visit Buddha, and she joined the crowd. With rapt attention, Amrapali heard Buddha say, "Out of desire comes the grief and fear. Free yourself from desire, and the grief and fear will wither away." Amrapali began to experience a new kind of joy. The words of Buddha soothed her. She went to Kotigram daily and listened to the Lord. She wanted Buddha to visit her house, but she was hesitant to invite him as she was a public dancer. Soon it was time for Buddha to leave Vaishali. Even after Buddha left, Amrapali continued to visit Kotigram every evening. She would circle the place where Buddha sat, praying to the Lord and listening to him in her imagination. Then one day, to her surprise, Buddha returned. She ran up to him and fell at his feet. Then she built up the courage to invite him to her house. Buddha saw the pain she was going through and promised to visit her house. Amrapali rushed home to make preparations. When the nobles heard of Buddha's coming to Amrapali's house, they felt insulted. Why should Buddha visit the house of an ill-reputed public dancer? They exclaimed. He should rather come to the royal palace. The nobles first offered bribe to Amrapali so that she would agree to bring Buddha to the palace instead of her house. Amrapali turned them down. Then they went to Lord Buddha, requesting him to visit the royal palace instead of Amrapali. Buddha firmly replied, "I am sorry, I cannot. I have already agreed to visit Amrapali at her house." Buddha came to the house of Amrapali with his favorite disciples. Amrapali served them with great honor. She was so very happy after a long time. With great reverence, Amrapali asked, "Lord, why do I feel such immense joy as I serve you?" Buddha said, "Amrapali, you have begun to know the joy of giving." Later, Amrapali went to Buddha to offer the garden and the house for the Sangha, the association of seekers of truth which Buddha organized. Buddha accepted her offer. Thus Amrapali renounced her worldly life and got the peace of mind she had been craving for. Years later, the garden which Amrapali gave to Lord Buddha was described by Faiyan, the Chinese traveler and historian.